friends, you are transitioning relationships, you are transitioning to the next level in your life, and it feels scary. You don't know exactly what it is that's happening, but you know you can't stay where you were. It's always pretty scary when you're going somewhere and you don't quite know the destination, but you know you can't stay where you were. You don't have the desire to. It was not serving you. And if you stay there, you're gonna die spiritually and mentally. My advice, and I could speak on this because I literally just went through, and I'm still going through, and I think the thick of it is the fear part is gone, but the fear part is the worst part in the beginning of a transition. And the number one thing that you need to do and you need to remember is to keep your team tight, keep your circle tight, and that does not mean only a few friends. That means everyone has to go through a clearance. Just as if you're going to leave the country and go to another country, you have to go through all of these checks and clearances. And if you're going to some countries, you even need to get shots. And that's the type of clearance you need to put your closest friends through, or the people that are calling themselves friends of yours, when you're moving to the next level and you're transitioning. Because a lot of times God is transitioning you away from people who will not be able to handle your next level. And although it may hurt, and although it may not be something that was planned, it's definitely necessary. Sometimes we, sit and pray and ask for blessings and transitions, and we ask God bring you to the next level, but we don't do our due diligence to help with that transition. And one of your due diligence is processes is to basically check your circle, check the people around you. God had 12 disciples, but he had a top few that he only done some things with. Like, he would not bring all of them with him. Yeah, all of them were his disciples. Yes, all of them followed him. However, there were only a select few that was very close to God, and he would do certain things around them because they had the mentality, or they had the faith enough to believe what he was saying. And so while you're transitioning, whether it's out of a relationship, out of a marriage, out of a job, out of a new city, whatever it is, because not everyone's going to agree with your decision. You need to check your company to see who it is that you have around you and that's talking in your ear, because transition is awfully scary. One thing about it, if you're really going to transition the way you're supposed to transition and level up the way you're supposed to level up, can't be no punk about it. And that's real talk. It's scary. And you can't be to the point where you don't want to be alone, because there's many times when you're going to have to be alone in order to understand what your next move is. And sometimes even your closest friends can't know that next move, because out of love for you and their calculations of the risk, they'll talk you out of your purpose. And not because they don't want to see you reach your purpose, it's because they don't want to see you go through what it takes to get to your purpose. And sometimes that's a little tough. Sometimes that's hurt. Sometimes that's pain. When I went through my divorce, my friends didn't want me to share certain things on social media. And I'm like, why? You know, I get it. Social media is not the place for some things. But I believe that the things that I shared was in taste. Within taste, it was nothing overly dramatic. It is what it is. A lot of people like to go through their issues quietly. However, I feel like if I'm going to go through something, somebody else is going to get blessed. Somebody else is going to learn a lesson. If I could tell somebody not to touch the stove or what to look out for before you get burnt, I'm going to do it. And that was my assignment. My assignment was to go through my divorce as gracefully as I could do it in public. And although it hurted like hell, although there were days when I felt like I deserved nothing of what I was being dealt, I did it anyway because I trusted God. I trusted what God told me to do. He told me to pick up my stuff and leave. He told me that that was no longer the situation for me. That situation was no longer serving me and my purpose and what he had for me and what my daughters needed to see. So I followed him. I trusted him. I gave him everything I had. Not knowing exactly where I was going and what I was doing. Not physically, because I knew where I was moving to. I had my job. I had money. I was not desolate. None of that. But as far as God, you're taking this stability of my family away from me. What are you going to give me back in return? And yes, that was a real question, but I already knew whatever it was going to be much better than what was had left. So in order for me to get to the glory or the glow that I have now, I had to go through some tough times. I had to go through people, you know, saying certain things about me that wasn't true. I had to hear about things that, you know, people did to betray me, how it was done, who it was done with. All of these things that no one wants to hear. However, but God, that's all I can say. Because when you decide to come up against a child of God, maybe you better know what you're doing. Because one thing about it, two things for sure. When you lack character, that will come back to bite you in the butt. And I don't have to be the one to do it. I did not try to get revenge on anyone. I did not try to do anything that my mind was telling me to do. No need, because I knew God had me. He had me. As soon as I left, the blessings start falling down, still falling down. And there's nothing that nobody can do to take that away from me, because I stepped out on faith and trust God for what he told me he would do for me. So if anybody has an issue with the way that God is blessing me, or the way that I'm living my life, or the way that things have panned out, based on the lies that was told and the lies that you believe, you have to take that up with God. So I'm saying all that to say, trust yourself, check your company, and keep it moving. There's many more videos that I'm gonna make to encourage you along the way, but for right now, this is the starting point. Trust yourself, check your company, and continue to follow God.